Hey guys, Rich from Richmond Gaming. Hope everyone is doing fantastically well. And joined back once again, let's call him co-host because he's almost earned that title. It's Quinn. Quinn, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm disappointed you didn't use my new official title, Sexy Jazz Voice Man.
Sexy jazz voice man, yes. For anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, somebody on the live stream the other night said, "Who is that man with the sexy jazz voice?" And I think at the time, Quinn, there was me, you, Daz, and Aaron on. And
Yeah,
we
and we
were
knew
all
it wasn't
stumped.
you.
He definitely wasn't me. He definitely wasn't Aaron. And Daz is quite high pitched. So, yeah, it turned out it was you. But that's quite disturbing.
Yeah,
But
I'll
we had
take
a,
it. I'll take it.
we had a great event, guys, last Thursday and Friday. For those that don't know, we raised over £2,500 for Candlelighters charity. We gave away some fantastic prizes. I was still alive by the end of it, which is more than what I thought I would be, Quinn. I think I had a bit of a lull, didn't I, right in the middle of our game.
I mean, that's to be expected when you're playing against me.
It is, yes. Especially when I think I was playing Convocation at the time as
Yeah,
well.
like I,
So
I really wish you'd drawn anything but Convocation in that game because you might have had fun.
might have had fun with it. Yeah, exactly. So, guys, a little belated, but even though we saw plenty of action with him on the 28-hour stream, it ended up being, we wanted to do a quick video breaking down the changes to Ghost Rider, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So let's then, for reference, we'll throw his old card up as well. So we can see on his old card he was 7. He was a seven stamina on the front, 6 stamina on the back, 5 threat, 3, 4, 4. And I think that's probably a good starting point, Quinn, isn't it, for the changes, is he got an extra health on his front and his backside, on his
Yeah,
injured side even. So that was unexpected, I think.
I mean, it makes him the 5 threat with the most stamina in the game, and that is not a title to be taken lightly.
It really isn't, especially, and we'll get onto it a little bit later on, the tactics cards that is a must bring with Ghost Rider as well. So that's the first big change. He got 2 extra stamina, 1 on the front and 1 on the back, which is always nice to see. He's still a medium move, and his defensive stats remain the same. Let's take a look then at Ghost Rider's attacks. He's got 3 attacks: Chains of Damnation, Flames of Hell, and Penance Stare. Now, all of these have remained exactly the same, so there's no changes whatsoever front and back to either his attacks. Hell on Wheels has remained exactly the same as well, so costing 3 power, and it's a long movement, but can only be used once per turn. And once again, Wicked's Judgment has remained exactly the same as well. 2 big changes then in his innate abilities. And first of all, Quinn, and I think this is an absolute game changer, Spirit of Vengeance. So it works in almost the same way. So when another allied character, after they've been attacked, if they took damage, then they gain, or Ghost Rider gains 1 power. But in the old rules, this had a range 3 limit on it. But now that range has been removed completely, Quinn, which is pretty massive.
It's absolutely huge. In the game we played during the 28-hour charity stream, I actually took Ghost Rider with Guardians. And if with Guardians, especially when you just have cheap bodies you can throw up the board and just sort of let your opponent, hit them a little bit, which you did end up doing. I managed to get 2 power onto Ghost Rider from that, and then just Hell on Wheels immediately to the middle of the board, which is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, and we talk a lot about turn 1 players, and yes, they're becoming less relevant because of the changes and everything else, but holding Ghost Rider back, moving characters forward, taking a little bit of damage, being able to do that turn 1 is pretty crazy, especially then when you can pull off a couple of Chains of Damnation, or maybe even a Chains and a Flames of Hell if you get lucky as well. So that's a real big upgrade for him. And then, Quinn, we all know the one thing that you wanted Ghost Rider to be, and I think everyone in the world agreed with you, which was immune to Incinerate, because
Yeah,
how can he be more on fire, right?
it's almost like the man that is partially made of fire shouldn't be able to be more on fire.
This is true. This is true. But, and I think once again, unexpected to everyone, he got 3 more immunities. So bleed,
I
hex,
expected
and
one of them.
poison. I think hex maybe.
Hex I expected. Bleed and poison I was pleasantly surprised by.
I'm really surprised at poison, I would say. Less at
I mean,
bleed.
does he got to have blood?
I mean, I think he does. Like when
Does he have a
he's,
digestive system, actually? Because that's how poison works.
I mean, it depends if he's Jonathan Blaze or if he's Ghost Rider, doesn't it? So,
I guess.
at
I mean, I feel like
points,
he's Ghost Rider whenever he's on the table, right?
probably, yeah, probably. Quinn, I also think it's worthwhile us talking really quickly about his whole package because I think it's fair. I think it's fair to say that if you're taking Ghost Rider, he has 2 tactics cards that he can bring that are his named ones. One of them you're probably not going to take, which is Highway to Hell. It's not particularly good, but
I mean,
Deal
it
with the
can
Devil.
be really good. It's just not really worth that, card slot. If like you had 6 cards, maybe, because
Yeah,
being able to just grab someone and take them a long move on a big base away, and then just double move back and leave them in the middle of the nowhere is kind of funny.
well, maybe on the right scenario, and maybe with now having 10 tactics cards, it could be something that fit. And in the past, you were never going to spend 2 tactics cards on him because he just wasn't good enough. He was subpar, one of the worst 5 threats in the game. Now, I mean, we need some more playtesting with him, but potentially the best, or one of the, at least in the top 2 or 3. But the card I want to talk about is Deal with the Devil. So for anyone that doesn't know, basically, if Ghost Rider's killed or KO'd, we don't kill people in this game, do we? He pays 4 power, and then he picks any other character, any other character that you've got on your board, allied character, and just regenerates in their body. But the crazy thing about it is, if you've got a 2-threat Wong on a back point that is on his healthy side, he comes back on his healthy side with no damage. Yes, he doesn't have any power, but hey ho. But even more importantly, he loses his activation token as well, Quinn, doesn't he?
Yeah, which is immense, because, I mean, if you put currently unbanned all you've got in there as well, you can have 3, effectively 3 activations from a Ghost Rider on a turn, which is pretty damn good.
Yep. And this is actually triggered by as well. Deal with the Devil can be triggered by all you've got. It's one of the few cards in the game that works with it. So it's just absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. The synergy that you get from this is huge. Don't bank on all you've got being part of your setup for too long. I do think that card is going to go amiss in the not too distant future. But even without all you've got, Ghost Rider gets all this power because people ignore him and they don't attack him because they know that he's just going to come back. But by ignoring him now with what he can do, it really puts your opponent in a huge quandary, doesn't it? Because what do? They attack him. They put loads of resources in to kill him because he's 8 stamina on one side, 7 on the other, so 15 stamina in total. So they spend all this resource and he comes back, or they ignore him and he just gains all his power and can just keep dishing out flames of hell or a big penance there if needed. So he becomes a real centerpiece of your army. I think somebody now who, as a 5 threat, you can really build your affiliation around him, can't you?
Yeah, you can really sort of bank on him helping you with some really big plays. Like him just sort of posting up in the middle of the board and whacking people with his range 3 builder, 6 dice energy, and energy is quickly becoming the best attack type. Like it used to be Mystic, but now with the Mystic wave that came out, with all the Convocation characters and Dormammu and stuff like that, it's really gone down a peg. And I think on dice currently, energy is the lowest in terms of like average number of defense dice.
Yeah, it is, and what you'll often find as well, Quinn, is that a lot of these mystics who have got high mystic defense, they have a way of being able to boost their energy as well, don't they? Or, as we see with like Enchantress and Mysterio, you have to pay power to negate that boost. Ghost Rider's not going to be missing out on any sort of power, so he's going to have no issues in making sure Enchantress only gets to roll those 2 dice or Mysterio only gets to roll 1. So I personally think he's going to be an absolute powerhouse. I think he's so versatile that he could at least start to compete against the likes of Scarlet Witch, Angela, MODOK, those big 5-threat powerhouses, as being the top rated unaffiliated 5-threat. I think it's that good what he brings, especially when you combine it with Deal with the Devil. And I think most of the 5-threats do, with the exception of Angela, actually, she's the only 5-threat that doesn't bring her own tactics cards in the game. And maybe that's an advantage, not taking up a slot. But I think the tactics cards that he brings is so good. So overall then, Quinn, what are our thoughts? I mean, I think when we rated him in our video, and I didn't look at this beforehand, guys, so forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think we had him down at a C. As his tier, which feels about right. Yeah, he's not completely useless. He's not a D tier. He's no Ebony Maw and Bullseye, but he was very underpowered for a 5-threat. I mean, I think he goes straight up into the S tier. I can't see any other place for him, which is a big call.
I'd put him in A+.
A+, okay.
I'm always apprehensive to award S tier to anything.
Which is not too far off. S tier. And look, guys, we're going to need more time, more play testing to see how he plays. These are just mine and Quinn's opinions. Whenever we're ranking characters like this, we always look at loads of other factors as well in terms of how everybody else plays with him. But I can see some weird and wonderful things being put together for Ghost Rider, and I can see him being a core character for a lot of players in a lot of their rosters.
Yeah, I mean, also, he's one of those characters that's kind of a fan favourite, so I think you'll see more of him on the table by virtue of that as well, which is always a nice thing.
People do like him. He's also a really good model. He's one of the best models in the game.
A bit of advice for anyone that is yet to have bought the Ghost Rider model. You can really stabilize the chain a lot more by gluing part of it to his left arm.
Yes.
Yeah, because then really does help. Completely free with one contact point. It's got 2, and they're both quite substantial.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, overall, Quinn, I think. So, I mean, you're saying he's gone from a C to an S for me to an A+ for you. I think there's no doubt he is significantly better than what he was before.
He's definitely had a glow up.
Yeah, I would say outside of Hulk, I would potentially say that of the characters we've seen so far, in terms of personal character stats and what their abilities, let's forget leaderships a second, but he's probably the card with the biggest change so far. That isn't a leader.
Biggest changes, perhaps not the most impactful changes, because Gamora, good God, is she terrifying.
She's a very, very, very scary piece now. So lastly, Quinn, before we head off, we have a little Hulkbuster. I say little, he's a huge piece, but we have a Hulkbuster to give away. So I'm going to jump over to our random comment selector and we'll see who the lucky winner is. Okay, guys, so there was 119 entries, and this was the Hulkbuster from the Dormammu opening. So good luck to everyone. We'll click the name, and the winner is Jordan A. Well, that's great, and cool giveaway. I'm in. Well, not only were you in, Jordan, you are the lucky winner of our Hulkbuster giveaway.
Oh, good. Jordan A is one of my old accounts.
It's just Quinn with 3,000 accounts and making 3,000 different comments.
I didn't want to reveal this to you, but I am artificially inflating your channel for you, Rich. You actually only have 10 individual subs.
10 subscribers, yeah, that's it. Excellent. Well, Jordan, hit me up on the back end of my About page. You'll find my details in there. Drop me a message, and we'll, no matter where you are in the world, we will arrange to get that sent over to you. Obviously, there may be a delay with getting this one. They haven't been announced in certain countries yet. So yeah, we'll see where we can get that and how we can get it over to you. Guys, as always, it leaves me with just enough time to say stay well, keep safe, and until next time, bye for now.
See ya.